What's up, you guys? My name is Adrian and welcome to my channel. So this channel is gonna mostly be just documenting my transition. So I figured why not kick it off with my coming out story. I am FCM transgender, and so that's obviously made me have to come out in order to transition. So the story starts all the way back in late 2016 when a family friend that we're gonna call William looks at his son and goes, "Your Auntie Squeak thinks she's a boy." And he was referring to me. They call me Squeak. They have since I was little. And so it kind of threw me into an identity crisis, to be real. And in that, I did a lot of self-reflection and a ton of research. I went on Tumblr, I went on YouTube, and a lot of LGBT websites, and just general Googling things. And between the two things, I realized that I am indeed transgender. Before I came to that realization, I was just like, wait, I can be something else. This could be why I'm so uncomfortable in my own skin and why nothing has ever felt right in my entire life. So it was a big relief to finally have an answer. And so then I spent all of 2017, well, most of it, accepting myself by watching YouTubers like Miles McKenna, Chase Ross, the You're So Brave podcast, MacMan, people like that. And then come October 18th, 2018, I went and saw Miles McKenna on the Love is Love tour. And after the show, I actually got to meet him because my mom's van actually got towed. And so we were waiting for her boyfriend to come get us so we could go get her van out of the impound or wherever it was. And while we were waiting, Miles came outside and was taking things to the tour bus. And when that happened, I was like, "Hey, Miles, can I talk to you?" And he was so sweet, and we talked for a minute. It was the greatest thing. And then he went back inside and started helping some more, and every time he came out and he saw me after that, he'd wave and smile. It was cool. And so that really encouraged me, like, knowing and being around so much love in that area, because it was pretty much nothing but LGBT people in that venue. It was a very, very small venue, and it was just incredible. And so between that and then getting this massively warm hug from Miles and talking to him, it really encouraged me to finally come out and ask my mom for a binder. Mind you, I had not come out as trans yet. So on the way home, after we get my mom's van back, I ask her if I can get a binder. And she sits silently for probably what was really about 2 seconds, but to me felt like 1,000 years of radio silence. And she just said, yeah. And she asked me a couple questions. She was like, "Well, are you trans?" And even though on the inside I was pretty sure of who I was at that point, I was just like, "Well, I don't really know." And she was like, "Okay, well, what names do you have picked out?" And so I told her I really like the name Adrian. And so she said, "Okay." And about 2 weeks later, one of my older sisters, she goes, "What the F is up with birth name?" And she's talking to my mom. And my mom is visiting my sister while my sister and her boyfriend are at my cousin's house. And so in front of my sister's boyfriend and my cousin, my mom goes, "Well, she's trans." And none of them really knew what that was yet. I'm the first trans person my sister has encountered, as well as my cousin, and that they are aware of. And so that led to questions, and then the only concern that they had was that my name still started with an A, because my mom has named all 5 of her kids with A. We all start with A. And so it's like A1, A2, A3, which is me, A4, and A5. And so once my mom was like, "Oh no, she's picked Adrian as her name," it was fine. That was literally my sister's only concern. And then on Thanksgiving, the weekend after Thanksgiving, so you have Thanksgiving on Thursday and then you have Friday and then Saturday. On that Saturday, my same cousin had a Friendsgiving thing at her house, and on the way home, my mom and I were talking about some trans thing about me, and then my sister was sitting in the back, and she's not even a year younger than me. So she was very confused, so I was pretty much forced out of the closet then, and I was like, shit, I'm not ready for this. And so that happened, and it was really cool. She immediately changed my name in her phone. And then a couple weeks later, I wrote a massive letter to my little brother, coming out to him, and I was very sneaky about it. I went and laid it on his bed, and I hurried up, and came in here, and I jumped in my bed, which is actually right there. And I pretended to be asleep so he wouldn't bother me. And so he gave me a hug the next day when he saw me after school. It was fine. And then, not too long after that, my mom went and visited my other older sister, and she accepted me. She was like, oh my god, things make so much more sense. That's why she was such a weird kid. Apparently, I was very weird. And so then I have recently, right around January, I came out to the man I tell everyone is my dad. But I call him Johnny, so that's what we're going to call him. And it's okay to use his name. He's out in the media. It's fine. And Johnny has accepted me. He was like, while I don't 100%, he was talking to my mom and she let me read the text. And as I was reading it, he said, while I don't agree with what he's doing entirely, I still love and support him. And he immediately switched my pronouns over and started calling me Adrian. It's amazing. And he's trying really hard. He doesn't see me that often, even though they're not together anymore. It's a complicated situation. That's for another day. And he's done wonderful. I don't know how his family's going to feel about it. And then just a couple weeks ago, I sent a letter to Kentucky to my biological dad and his family, coming out because I'm supposed to go see them this summer. And everyone has accepted me, which is very strange. I was actually expecting to be disowned, especially by my bio dad. The only person that's really struggling is my grandpa, which is kind of a given considering he's not great in the fact that he's homophobic and racist. But considering no one disowned me, this is a plus. So it's just kind of, that's where I'm at, and I've also recently come out to my friends, and literally one of them, it was all over text, and one of them, her reaction was, LOL, okay, like, okay, cool. And then one of my best friends, she asked a bunch of questions, and it was fine. She's fine with it. And, another friend, her parents are very, very homophobic. Like, when I'm not around, they call me an it, and they call her all kinds of slurs as well, because she is queer herself as well, and so it's been difficult, but she's accepted me with open arms. She was actually the first friend I told. It's great. And that's really about my whole coming out story right now. I know I have a lot more coming out to do. I'm going to be coming out the rest of my life. But hey, that kind of comes with it. That comes with the territory, and I'm very excited for everything that this is going to bring. On Friday, I actually have my first appointment with an endocrinologist. So here soon, ya boy will be starting T. And it's going to be great. I'm so excited. I can't wait for my voice to drop so I don't sound so high-pitched. And for me to not look like a 12-year-old. I am 17 years old, and everyone assumes I am 12. I actually turn 18 in October. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's great. I've really only had 2 negative reactions, and one of them is to someone that I spoke to on occasion, and he was just a douchebag. But I don't want this video to be brought down by those negative things. Like, the other negative one is my friend's parents, because she wanted to be able to call me by the correct name and pronouns after I came out, and she got my permission before she outed me, and yeah, so those are really the only ones, and only one of them is directly, I don't want to say hostile, because he wasn't hostile to me, but he wasn't kind. So really the only directly unkind response, because when I'm over at her house, her parents are very respectful and very nice to my face. So that's kind of just the deal. And I've been filming forever, so I will talk to you guys later. Spread love, not hate, and I will see you next time. Bye!